We all encounter disrespect at some point in life. Sometimes it comes from strangers, people we don't know well or only partially know, and it doesn't have much impact. But sometimes it comes from those closest to us, family members, friends we've trusted for years, or people we work with. In those moments we feel torn apart. We feel helpless, as if we can't respond at all. Because when you face disrespect from someone close, someone you hold dear, you never expect them to think of you that way. No one wants to experience disrespect from another person, especially not from someone they have always respected. But this is a bitter truth of life. Sometimes the blow comes from the very place or person you least expect, leaving you speechless. And disrespect doesn't always come in words. Sometimes it comes in silence, indifference, a glance, or purposefully saying nothing. For example, you want to share your joy with someone, close or seek their opinion on a certain matter, but the person in front of you doesn't respond or shows no interest. It's as if you don't exist. This is silent disrespect. Sometimes you express your opinion, but the other person interrupts you, unwilling to listen. Other times they respond harshly. Or you make an effort to do something, but the other person doesn't even say thank you. It's as if what you did doesn't matter. Sometimes it's just a sneer, an ironic look, and that's it. Unspoken words often hurt more than spoken ones. Such moments can make us feel worthless, ignored, and abandoned. It leaves us broken inside. But what should we do in these moments? Should we retaliate? Should we respond? Should we vent our hearts? What should we do? The real question starts here. Our reaction to such situations should be impactful to the person who disrespected us. It should be so effective that even if they don't apologize, they feel ashamed. This feeling of shame should make them uncomfortable. But how? How can you convey this impact to the person who disrespects you? In such moments, what should we do? Should this sudden void and the break inside us make us even more silent? Or should it push us to react? Sometimes a person feels that raising their voice will only worsen the situation. If they stay silent, they will lose themselves inside. It feels like being stuck between two fires. Whatever you say, it will either be too much or too little. The person who hurts you often doesn't see your situation, doesn't want to see it. Or if they do see it, they don't care. This is even more painful. The indifference of the person in front of you to your feelings, the expectation that everything should be taken normally. This stirs up a storm inside you. You ask yourself questions. Why did they do this to me? What did I do to them? Am I really this worthless? You can't find an answer. Maybe you don't want to find one because sometimes the answer hurts even more. In such moments, many of us either hold a grudge, distance ourselves, or unfortunately, begin to blame ourselves. However, how we deal with these feelings actually determines who we are. The key issue is not simply reacting. It's how and with what we react. Responding to someone who hurts you, disrespects you, without losing your composure is an art. Creating an impact without yelling, without holding a grudge, without sinking to the same level, this is power. And this power is hidden in a silent gesture, a calm walk, or sometimes a perfectly timed, simple sentence. It's not just about expressing the emotion, it's about expressing it in such a way that the other person understands you. Let them understand and feel ashamed. Even if they don't want to, let them begin to question within themselves how they treated you. This is only possible in one way, through your inner strength and self-respect. True change and impact start here. But before reacting, stop, take a deep breath. And first, try to understand the essence of the disrespect directed at you. Every action has a root, a reason. Where does that hurtful word, that look, that silence come from? Was it just intended to hurt you? Or is there something deeper at play? Why do people disrespect each other? The answer to this question is often more complicated than it seems. In most cases, this behavior is not rooted in hatred or hostility. Yes, sometimes people deliberately hurt you, but most of the time, it is the result of a person who cannot cope with their own wounds. Sometimes the person in front of you is not at peace with themselves. They carry within them a broken, incomplete, unloved child. And that child, to make noise, lashes out at you. Someone who feels powerless tries to prove their strength by belittling others. This is false strength, but it is the only thing they need at that moment. Often, behind disrespect lies an attempt to cover up their own feelings of worthlessness. Someone who doesn't feel valuable won't see the value in others. Because if they accept it, they will have to face their own helplessness. To escape this pain, they either remain silent, turn their eyes away, or try to hurt you with harsh words. Sometimes it's simply an attempt to get attention. When a person doesn't know how to earn respect, they try to gain attention through disrespect. Think like a child. How does a child who feels unloved behave? They scream, they destroy, they act stubbornly. Why? Because they want to say, "See me." Sometimes adults do the same things, just in different forms. And remember one thing, a person cannot give love and respect to others unless they find order, peace and security within themselves. Their behavior toward you is often more about the storm inside them than about you. So instead of questioning your own worth when you are hurt, ask this question: what is missing behind this behavior? Often the answer is, the problem is not with you, it's with them. So how should we conduct ourselves in response to this behavior? Often when we face disrespect, the first reaction we feel is anger, dissatisfaction. It's as if everything inside us loses its way, and we expect a shout or a loud response. But in reality, the most powerful reaction comes from silence. Yes, silence. It's not just about turning a blind eye or giving in to everything. It's the most powerful way to protect yourself, because silence is consciously leaving the other person without a response in the moment. Yes, if someone ignores you, you must still show them that you exist, but you should not do this with bitterness or anger. A person who tries to hurt you, who does not know who you are, may only see you as someone who is lost. The way to protect your strength in this moment is solely within you. The response to disrespect is not to lower yourself to their level. It is precisely to invite them to a different world, a different path, without responding to them. Remember that the disrespect of the person in front of you shows their inner emptiness, their attempt to grow by trying to degrade you. You cannot fill that emptiness, because it is solely their responsibility. But by showing your strength, you can teach them to respect you. If someone disrespects you, show respect to yourself. Respond not with anger, dissatisfaction, or bitterness towards them, but with calmness and sound reasoning. Instead of being hurt, see the weaknesses within that person. Yes, you may not need to forgive them immediately, but it is important to maintain your respect for them. This is a sign of your inner strength, not responding with a small reaction in a cunning way, but instead responding in a calm, thoughtful manner without losing yourself. The more you believe in your own worth, the more the other person will be compelled to respect you. People may sometimes interpret your silence as weakness, but remember, a strong person never shouts. They only trust in themselves. Silence is a symbol of strength. It means not bringing anger or rudeness close to yourself. Imagine simply looking silently at the person who insults you. Very few people can withstand that. That person will at the very least feel your strength within themselves. When faced with disrespect, do not only attack yourself, show yourself love as well. The greatest response to disrespect towards someone is to preserve your self-respect. It is not just about controlling your anger. It's about continuing to recognize your own value, and most importantly, how others see you is a reality where you live your life, not them. Never forget that how others treat you is a reflection of their inner world, not yours. The power of silence. Sometimes it seems so simple that people confuse it with weakness. But in reality, it is a great power. Silence is the greatest response. Holding grudges, giving an angry reply, or belittling yourself only stifles your inner energy and peace. That's why, in such cases, it's important to pause for a second. Think and avoid emotional reactions. Why? Because no matter how angry or hurt you are, it won't benefit you or the other person. Some people actually do not intend to hurt you. They are simply trying to deal with their own internal struggles. And at this time, they want to see your reaction. How much you can influence them depends on how much you can influence yourself. The Stoic philosophy teaches us a great lesson at these moments. Reacting to things that are beyond our control harms us. The Stoics believed that a person should only control their emotions and reactions. The behaviors of others are not under our control, but how we react is entirely in our hands. The response you give to an insulting word is actually a reflection of your inner strength. For this reason, Stoics always recommend managing emotions and approaching every situation logically. This is the strongest way to protect both the other party and ourselves. Thus, managing emotions means first making peace with yourself. Don't drown in your emotions. Feel them, but don't let them defeat you. Imagine someone disrespects you. Then first you can say to yourself, yes, this hurts me, but my inner strength is about how I will react to this. I will not allow myself to lose control. This means when struck, you direct your energy not to anger, bitterness, or confusion, but to the power of calmness. Sometimes a person thinks, if I don't say anything, I'll look weak, no one will take me seriously. But in reality, weakness lies in losing yourself when reacting. Being strong means thinking about your actions and words. When you say or do something, how people treat you has more to do with them than with you. The voids within that person, the fact that life has not taught them to rest, or that they do not feel brave, is why they treat you this way. Silence, however, will disturb the other person. Your lack of response, not answering them, will not be about ignoring them. It will simply expose their weaknesses in the face of your inner strength. Their behavior toward you is related to their internal struggles. In fact, your not responding is a powerful threat to them. In the end, the other person will begin to think, how satisfied am I with what I've done? Why did I react this way? In these moments, silence is the deepest response to disrespect. It is the true respect shown to the other party because by holding your value high, you do not accept them on your level. Your value is measured not by how others treat you, but by how you treat yourself. Stoic philosophers Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca taught that in such situations, being calm is the strongest weapon. Marcus Aurelius wrote, if someone disrespects you, it does not diminish your worth. It only shows who they are. The Stoics taught that the only thing under our control is our reactions. They said that another person's mistake should not violate your morals. If you remain calm, resist your impulses, and swallow your anger, you are already victorious. Thus, a question arises, how do you preserve your value when faced with disrespect? This is a very important matter, because you will find your true strength only in these moments. In different moments of life, especially when people around you treat you unfairly or disrespectfully, you must first avoid touching your own value. Each of us sometimes feels strong, sometimes weak, and sometimes anxious. But remember, no one will respect someone who does not respect themselves. This self-respect must be shown not only through words, but through actions as well. When confronted with disrespect, your reaction shows your inner strength. If someone disrespects you, how do you treat yourself? Do you respond with anger, or do you calm down and think deeply about the situation? Your behavior reflects who you are and how much respect you have for yourself. For example, if someone says a bitter word to you, at that moment your anger rises. Everything seems to turn against you, and the words are like poison spreading around. But at this moment, managing it, mastering yourself, is the greatest test given to you. Reacting emotionally and responding in the same way to the other party only worsens the situation. It is, in a way, lowering yourself to their level. But don't do that. Stay on your level. Believing in your own value should not depend on how others treat you, because you are valuable not as others think of you, but as you are. It is always important to believe in yourself, your abilities, and your character. No matter how strong you are, the attempts of others to bring you down should never be your concern. Their disrespect reflects only their own weaknesses. It does not show that you are weak. On the contrary, it reveals their powerlessness. Yes, sometimes the attempt to belittle you can be very hurtful. But remember, the person who belittles you is never trying to show who you are. They are simply trying to cope with their own inner anxieties. Therefore, how you respond to how others treat you is something that only concerns you. Listening to the other party, or not listening at all, maintaining your silence reveals how strong you are. In the face of any disrespect or blow directed at you, showing your greatest strength lies in not reacting to the behavior of the other party. While this can often be difficult, remember that reacting to everything is not always your best choice. People, especially those who want to hurt or provoke us, sometimes reflect their inner contradictions onto the world around us. They may direct their worries and inner emptiness toward us, but this does not mean we need to respond to them. Your reaction, the feeling directed at you by someone who is projecting something not belonging to them, is simply theirs and not yours. Pause for a moment. If someone disrespects you, your reaction at that moment is a measure of how strong you feel and how stable your inner peace is. In fact, attention should not be given to how they treat you, but to how you react. Remember, reacting to someone has to do only with how they expect us to behave toward them. In this case, you define who you want to see yourself as. Every reaction sends a powerful message about how you present yourself. Your silence represents your power, because this silence symbolizes that you do not accept the wrong behavior directed toward you. By doing so, you preserve your value and do not allow anyone to diminish it. What others think, say, or do should no longer affect you. If you see yourself on the right path and maintain your inner calm, the behavior of others will not be an obstacle on your way. The Stoic philosophy constantly teaches us to follow our own path. When facing the struggles, obstacles and difficulties of life, our true strength lies in how we protect ourselves and maintain our direction. Life sometimes brings us lessons to learn. But remember, every difficulty is an opportunity. In moments of difficulty, everything seems dark, and past successes seem insignificant. However, these moments are the biggest tests of staying true to our path and moving forward toward our inner goal. These tests help us find ourselves. Interactions between people and various behaviors are a natural part of life. Every person is walking their own path, and sometimes we encounter disrespect directed toward us along the way. However, these experiences life gives us increase our ability to manage our lives. The negative behaviors of others can never change our inner value. Sometimes a person may feel isolated and abandoned, but the most important thing is to stay on your path and keep moving toward your inner goal. How people treat you is only about them. If you are steady and confident on your path, the worse others treat you, the stronger you must stand. This is also about seeing yourself not through the eyes of others, but through your own eyes. At any time, someone may deny your truth, but remember that you live your life alone, and others only leave traces, whether good or bad. Thus, Stoic philosophy does not just present beautiful thoughts, but also shows us a practical path that can be applied in life. Stoics teach us that life itself is an unwavering and stable movement, and that everything that stands in our way is meant to teach us. Some things are beyond our control, but what we can control are our thoughts and feelings inside. Therefore, we do not need to change anything to stand stronger against difficulties. We can simply develop a healthy approach to everything with our inner strength. Remember, your life belongs to you. Do not give control over your life to anyone. Be the master of your fate. Thank you for watching until the end. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share your thoughts in the comments. See you again soon.